Straight ahead on WBKB News at 11, the Alpena Flyers played a little bit of golf with the locals this morning. Plus, Dinosaur Gardens celebrates a big day, and it was a party on French Road. We'll have those stories plus your local weather and sports. The news that affects you starts now.
From Rogers City to Tawas City and all points in between, this is Northeast Michigan's award-winning news team. We are your source for news, weather, and sports. We are WBKB News at 11.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Neil Liwanag. The Alpena Flyers are getting ready for the season as they hosted a fundraiser at Lee's Mini Golf. Players, coaches, and staff joined people in the community for several games of miniature golf. It was a $15 admission fee to play, which also included a hot dog, chips, pop, and a ticket to a Flyers home game. The fundraiser was a great opportunity for the team to get acquainted with the locals and their fans as they look to travel to various cities in the upcoming season.
So I'd like to see the community come out. We try and pair one of the players with every group so they get to know some of the players and helps build our audience a little bit, get people to the hockey game. The team's in a new league this year. We've got a pretty big footprint. We'll be traveling to Chicago and Boston, so this is just a fundraiser to help offset some of our travel costs for the year.
Tickets are now on sale, and the first Flyers game is September 25th. Today, Dinosaur Gardens celebrated a monumental feat with their 80th anniversary. Dinosaur Gardens prides itself as a unique property for visitors to come out and learn about the prehistoric times. So, Congressman Dan Benishak presented Dinosaur Gardens with a certificate for being in business for 80 years. Owner Gary Stevens says he is extremely excited for this accomplishment, but his true satisfaction is seeing visitors come back and relive the good times they spent at Dinosaur Gardens.
It's amazing how many people come back, and we're seeing third generation people come back with their kids and their grandkids, and it's so fun to watch these kids actually tell us more about the dinosaurs themselves than what we know about them.
If you're interested in visiting Dinosaur Gardens, visit their website at dinosaurgardensllc.com or call 989-471-5477. The Hubbard Lake Lions Park presented the 4th annual Crush It! Metal Mud Drags this evening. People throughout the community enjoyed a day of metal music, good food, and mud dragging trucks. Gates opened at 2 p.m. and entrance fee was only $10. The event consisted of 8 live bands from around the state of Michigan and 1 band from Indiana. Folks from the Northern Michigan Metal Alliance said their main focus of the concert was to create local awareness of metal music and a chance to also help the community.
Try to give a place for heavy metal bands to play. Metal Alliance is part of a chapter of Michigan Metal. And obviously this thing costs a lot of money to put on, so we try to pay for everything, and then we make donations to the Lions Park and fire department around here, stuff like that.
The Crush It! Metal Mud Drags will be back next summer. On Wednesday, the Alpena Fire Department was instrumental in rescuing a man with heart conditions on a flooding sailboat. At about 9 a.m., the Alpena Fire Department were dispatched to a call for a boat that was taking on water 18 miles of Alpena in Lake Huron. One of the 2 men on the sailboat experienced chest pains and began losing consciousness. Alpena Fire Department's Chris Anton describes the incident as a challenging one because of strong winds and waves up to 6 feet. Anton was one of the men to help resuscitate the unconscious man.
Reoxygenate some of his vessels to help his heart pump a little bit better, and he came around pretty quick after that. At that point, we still had a hard issue of communicating with multiple jurisdictions, multiple agencies on how to get a patient approximately 20 miles out at sea to a hospital where he needed further care.
Alpena Fire Department says the man is currently in stable condition. Tonight, the French Road Bash celebrated its 19th year, and this year the event is now officially a music festival. The French Road Bash began when Wayne Kanjorski came back from Alpena from Detroit after 17 years. The community then had a welcome back party for Kanjorski and says that they had so much fun that they decided to make it an annual event. The bash consisted of great food, great fun, and of course, great music. It featured 3 stages for bands to play on and despite the fact the event was free, the community still found a way to give back.
Well, we have a donation box, and this year, since we've gotten so big, we decided to get the Evening Lions involved so that we can take some proceeds and give it back to the community. And we just do this as a payback to the community and just for fun. Have music, and the whole thing is all about the music.
Ken Jorski says that next year he hopes that the French Road Bash will be even bigger as he celebrates its 19th year. Coming up next on WBKB News at 11, find out why Goodyear is getting a makeover. All that and more next. Welcome back. In your Money Watch, good news for in-flight passengers using Wi-Fi. The FAA says they've given GoGo an approval for technology that will increase current Wi-Fi speeds on flights by more than 20 times. That's better than most consumer broadband speeds now on the ground. The faster service could launch as early as this year. Arby's has become the latest franchise to jump on the snack bandwagon. The chain just launched a lineup of sliders, mini versions of its regular sandwiches for less than $2 a piece. Other than fast food chains are also catering to people looking for mini treats or who are counting their calories. Taco Bell is promoting its Daredevil Loaded Grillers mini burritos, and Sonic is also about to bring back its mini menu offerings. And the iconic Goodyear blimp is getting a makeover. The new version technically won't be a blimp because it won't deflate when helium is removed. New features of the fleet include a larger airship and faster speeds. But Goodyear says not to worry, the new version will be just as recognizable as the current one. If you're heading to the pump, GasBuddy.com and AAA of Michigan helped us find the highest and lowest gas prices locally and across the state. The lowest price for gas in Alpena is coming in at $2.34 at Admiral Station. The highest is $2.35 at Marathon. Across the state, the lowest price at the pump is $1.98 in Lance. And the highest price is coming in at $3.59 in Levering. There's still much more to come on WBKV News at 11. Kyle Logan will be in with sports, and I'll be right back with your full weather forecast. Stay tuned. Thanks for joining us. It is now time to look at the weather. There we go. Now we have the weather. So today we had a high of 73 with a low of 61. Normally it's 75 and a low of 52, and record was 95 was your high back in 1953, and your low was in 1982 of 30 degrees. Sunrise was at 6:52 a.m., sunset at 8:17 p.m. And your current conditions is 61 degrees right now. Winds, nothing. Humidity, though, is 89%. And a little bit cloudy over the state of Michigan. Okay, and this is for tomorrow. Partly cloudy, 56 degrees, southwest wind at 5 miles per hour. Actually, this is tomorrow, I'm sorry. Fog, partly sunny though, 75 degrees, so it's gonna be a little bit of heat there with a southeast wind of 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, mostly clear with 60 degrees as your low, southwest wind at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And your extended outlook, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday are beautifully weather with hot and sunny in your high 80s there. With the exception of Wednesday, there's a chance of showers, a little bit cloudy. Monday you have a high of 84, a low of 60. Tuesday a high of 86 and a low of 66. Wednesday 66 is your high, but your low is 64. But definitely bring an umbrella just in case for that day. Thursday partly cloudy, high of 80 and a low of 61. And Friday, a high of 78 and a cool 63 for your low. And now it's time for today's photo of the day. Today's photo was sent in by Lori Freisinger of Alpena. Now, this is a photo Lori took of a family of turtles sunbathing and enjoying the cold day while she was out kayaking on the Thunder Bay River. I'm actually pretty impressed how the 3 turtles are lined up perfectly. But what really catches my eye is that one turtle on the left there, jumping right in the water and just having a blast. Thank you, Lori, for sending us this photo. If you have a photo you would like to send us, email it along with a short description to news@wbkb11.com. In your Health Watch this evening, the CDC is reporting most parents are making sure their children are immunized as they head to school this fall. 2 new studies indicate vaccination rates stayed high through 2014. The percentage of children not getting shots stayed below 1%. Doctors warn clusters of unvaccinated students in some states put schools and communities at higher risk. Getting children up off the couch, even for short breaks, is good for their health. Researchers in Washington, D.C. say interrupting long periods of TV watching or video game playing with just a few minutes of activity can improve blood sugar levels. And researchers in Sweden say older women treated with growth hormone cut their risk for fractures related to osteoporosis in half. In national news in Roanoke, the deaths of fellow journalists Allison Parker and Adam West remained an open wound. With the weekend, many got the chance to visit the station and share their grief at a memorial that's been growing by day. Pilar Posada has more.
Folks have been coming out here to this makeshift memorial in front of the station throughout the day. Some of them coming just to look and see what's here. Others are leaving mementos, things like a box of these ribbons hand put together for folks to take with them when they leave. Everyone who comes here coming to share their grief.
To show respect and support to the two lives that were lost.
Well, as part of the community, I just thought it was my obligation to come out.
And it's about one of the most tragic incidents that I've known that we've had here.
They came alone in twos and threes.
I tried to find a stone that looked like a kayak.
They came from Roanoke, Lynchburg, as far as West Virginia.
I put it by this cross.
Some brought precious mementos to leave in honor of Adam Ward and Allison Parker.
I gave that to my father. He died in 2002.
Others signed their names in support, maybe taking a memorial ribbon to remember. They say spending even a few minutes grieving together is important.
I think it's really important. I mean, I normally don't come to these kind of things, but it's like part of the healing process.
And even in their own pain, those here are thinking about the Parker and Ward families, both at WDBJ and at home.
I can't even imagine what their families are going through. I cannot. I couldn't put my feet in their shoes at all.
For some, just trying is overwhelming.
And it really does hurt. Excuse me. I'm good.
There have been several memorials for Allison and Adam over the last few days. This here is where they're setting up for another vigil right across the street from the station. It will go into the evening tonight. In Roanoke, I'm Pilar Pedraza reporting for WDBJ 7.
In other national news, a suspect is now in custody in the shooting death of a sheriff deputy outside Houston, Texas. Meg Oliver reports.
The arrest came less than 24 hours after the shooting. Sheriff Ron Hickman says there was no clear motive.
This morning, our assumption is that he was a target because he wore a uniform.
I mean, a gas station, they're saying that there's an officer down, about 6 to 8 gunshots in the vehicle.
Police say the atrocious attack happened Friday night under the bright lights of this gas station in Houston. Sheriff Deputy Thomas Gilliland.
A male suspect came up behind deputy and shot the deputy multiple times. Deputy then fell to the ground. The suspect then continued over to him and shot the deputy again multiple times as he laid on the ground.
Get in there and go for it. He's down.
47-year-old Harris County Deputy Darren Goforth died at the scene. The 10-year veteran had just pumped gas. The sheriff called it absolute madness. Police tracked down this dark red truck and arrested Miles. Authorities believe he acted alone.
Miles is in the custody of the Harris County Sheriff's Office. He does have previous criminal history that includes charges for resisting arrest, trespass, evading detention, and disorderly conduct with a firearm.
Deputy Goforth leaves behind a wife and 2 young children. I also learned it was always his dream to become an officer. He was the oldest member of his class when he graduated at 37. Meg Oliver, CBS News, New York.
Sports is coming up next, and Kyle Logan is here with a preview. Kyle?
Neil, tonight in sports, the Tigers looking to get a much-needed win, and the Lions played their 3rd preseason game last night. Also, we'll let you know the finalists for Sunday's Par 3 $1 Million Challenge at the Alpena Golf Course and the Alpena boys soccer team hosted a tournament today. How did they fare? You have to come back and find out. Sports is next. Today, the Alpena boys soccer team hosted 7 other schools for their 3rd annual Sunrise Side Soccer Challenge Cup. Each team would get at least 2 games, and halves were 30 minutes instead of 40 due to time constraints. The Wildcats were matched with the Sabres of Traverse City Christian. Early on, all Alpena, Tommy Hine, he would dribble around the outside, blow by one defender. He put a pass between 2 more to Evan Letourneau, who put it in the back of the net, but he was called for offside, so no goal. Fear not, as later in the first half, Dylan Kinziorski steals the ball here, dribbles up and around a defender and fires a shot left pocket. 1-0 Alpena. Second half, more early success. Off across from Letourneau, Hine flicks it to himself and just gets it past an oncoming keeper. 2-0 Wildcats. He would score his second late in the game, and Alpena goes on to win 3-0. Game number 2 for the Wildcats as they host the Red Arrows of Lowell. Alpena's keeper Levi Goebel was under heavy fire early, but was able to keep the Red Arrows off the board. His team would reward him midway through the first. Evan Letourneau on a breakaway. He would bend it up and over the keeper. Wildcats lead 1-0. Second half, it was all Lowell. Early into the second, Logan Landman, the beautiful touch here, gets it up and over the keeper to tie this one at 1 apiece. A little later, after being tripped in the box, Colin Bowers would capitalize on this penalty to give his team the lead. That score would hold as the Red Arrows take this one by a final of 2-1. And the Wildcats did have one consolation game as well, but they fell to Midland High by a final of 3-0. Alpena will look to bounce back Monday against Cadillac. Since June, the Alpena Golf Club has been hosting their Closest to the Pin Par 3 Challenge. The goal? Get your ball closer than any other golfer to qualify and then have a shot at winning $1 million by making a hole-in-one. The finale of this shootout will take place tomorrow, and here are your qualifiers. Jack Bile is on hole 1. He was 1 foot and 1 inch away. Matt Waja is the qualifier on the second hole at 1 foot and 3 inches out. On hole 3, Jim McCallum is the top man just over 2 feet away from the cup. The finalist on hole 4 is Adam Sidlowski at 2 feet and 10 inches. And on 5, Neil Belmore qualified with his shot just over a foot away. Flash to hole 6, Byron Parr is the finalist at 2 feet 10 inches. Larry Worth is the man on lucky number 7 at 1 foot 10 inches. And hole 8 is Ryan Gallagher, who qualified at 2 feet and 3 inches. And finally, hole 9, it's Ken Pokorzinski at 1 foot and 10 inches. Play will begin at 5 o'clock tomorrow. The Lions were in the Sunshine State last night as they met the Jacksonville Jaguars. Problems galore early on for the defense. Jaguars quarterback Blake Bortles was simply phenomenal. Early third down, the Lions front 4 closing in. That is until the second-year man spins out, gets by one linebacker, and he would move the chains. Later in the drive, Bortles with time. He finds Allen Hurns here for a touchdown. Bortles finished the night 20 of 29, throwing for 324 yards. The Jags' first-team offense put up 17 points, 317 yards, and were 10 of 12 on third downs. The first-team offense, however, for the Lions was on point. Stafford, he would connect here with Golden Tate on a 62-yard pitch and catch, which was their biggest highlight on the night. Stafford finished with 11 of 15 for 173 yards and 2 scores, 1 here. No CJ once again, but the unit still put up over 300 yards. The Lions went on to win 22-17, but again, it's the preseason. Much work still to be had, and the Lions have one more preseason game at home against the Bills. Game 2 between the Tigers and Blue Jays. Buck Farmer on the mound for Detroit, but this day belonged to the Toronto offense and one man in particular. Edwin Encarnacion had himself a day, and it began early. With 2 men on in the first, he corks this one to deep left to put the Jays up 3-0. Top 3, the lone Tigers highlight on the day. Runners on the corners, Ian Kinsler at the dish. He grounds to short. Luckily, Rajay Davis was running on the play, so they're unable to turn 2, and the Tigs get their first run. But back to the big story, Encarnacion up again, and again he leaves the yard. This one to left as well, another 2 RBIs for him on the day. And we'll fast forward to the 7th, though. The Jays with this one well in hand. Encarnacion once again, this time with 3 ducks on the pond, and he would go oppo-boppo. Barely over the wall, the Jays would now lead 13-1. 3 homers on the day, the second 3-run home run day for Edwin in his career. The Blue Jays would tack on 2 more, and they would destroy the Tigers 15-1. Afterwards, Alex Wilson noted the team just has to pick up their heads and look at what's ahead.
And this one sticks with you, anytime, the game goes the way it did today, and you just get beat in every aspect of the game. You just get beat, and so that one, it hurts. But like I said, there's always another game tomorrow.
With that loss, the Tigers have now lost 8 of their last 9, but there is still hope. Detroit has nearly a month's worth of games left, and they currently sit 7 games back of a wild card spot. The team will look to get one back and end their 3-game skid tomorrow in the series finale with Toronto. So, Neil, I mean, like I said, the Tigers are in a really rough stretch right now, but they've got a lot of time. If they can get on a little bit of a hot streak, they may just have a chance. And quick note for everyone from Tawas, Jeff Janis, Green Bay Packers tight end, caught another touchdown tonight, his 4th of the preseason. Jordy Nelson out for the year. Randall Cobb even got banged up tonight, so he could have a big impact on this offense. Very exciting for him.
Well, with those injuries, the Green Bay Packers can definitely go to this local boy, hometown kid, and he can make an impact for the Packers. But it'll be tough because same division as the Detroit Lions. So,
but with Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback, you can always have a much more successful career. So definitely good looking out for him.
All right, thanks, Kyle.
Thanks, Neil.
Coming up next on WBKB News at 11, find out where people are trying to break the record for water ski pyramid. All that and more next. Welcome back. You now have to have more than 72 people on a water ski pyramid to break the world record. Or Wisconsin Rapids is not giving up on breaking the water ski pyramid world record. The previous record was 60 people stacked high on top of each other, which was set in Wisconsin Rapids, being pulled by a high-powered boat with ropes about the length of a football field. It was certainly a challenge for all the people that was involved. It took another 30 minutes to wrap up the ropes, get stacked, and try again. Some of the requirements for the record include staying up in the pyramid for at least 30 seconds. Okay, Kyle, is that something you would like to do and try?
I would probably have to go against that. I've actually never water skied, but I know it's very difficult. But I think what we've noticed is that there's really a world record for everything. And I know as long as you want to put in the time and effort, you can certainly reach those goals. And it certainly looks like they're doing that out there.
Water skiing itself is extremely dangerous already. But to do this with 72 people on top of you, it's insane, really.
But it's exciting that they're at least going to give it a go. I'd watch.
Yeah, I will too, definitely.
And remember, you can read more about our broadcast stories and get the scoop on other news items online.
Just visit WBKB11.com for sports, weather, and news updates anytime, day or night.
Or add us on Facebook at facebook.com/WBKBTV.
Well, that'll do it for tonight's show. Catch us tomorrow night at 11. Good night, everybody.